Another transfer window, another player in Bruno Guimarães making it public he wants to leave Newcastle United. Plus, some good transfer news with Sean Stuer and possibly Manzambi coming to the Toon. Got a lot to discuss. Let's talk about it right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Brilliant from Sham. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Schär
All right, folks. How are you all doing? Hope you guys are blessed. Late night show tonight. It's going to be a late night live lounge, midnight session. Talking all things Toon. I was hoping to sit down and watch the World Cup game. Ended up having to do things really, really late in getting the show ready, then running and then coming back. But obviously, we've just seen France win 2-0 versus Morocco with Mbappe and Dembele. I saw some of the highlighted goals. What can you say? France are just too good. There isn't. I don't think there's a weakness in any part of their squad. So they made it through to the semi-final. Who will join them? That will be the big discussion. But for tonight's show, we're going to be talking all things Toon. We're going to talk about Mr. Bruno Guimarães making it public that he wants to leave Newcastle United through some of the biggest transfer journalists. What does that mean? What does the story entail? We'll look at his stance, Newcastle United, Arsenal, and everything around that. Then we will talk about some of our incomings. We will talk about Sean Stuer. Great. We have a great article here from Talks Toon. He's a fantastic football analyst. I'm sure you guys already know him, especially for Newcastle United. But if you don't, and you want to learn about players, you want to learn about the game, how to watch the game, study the game, he is absolutely phenomenal. So I do encourage you guys to go into it. So we'll look at Sean a little bit. Then we'll look at some of the midfield options who could come in to replace Mr. Bruno Guimarães should he leave. Spoiler alert, I think he leaves. So we're going to get on with that and to see what all of that means. But as always, it's a blessing, an unbelievable blessing to already see comments in the chat, see people watching the show. Absolute blessing. And God bless you guys already for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Good to see my man Adrian Pickett here. Even to you, sir. God bless you. Good to see my man James here. God bless you, sir. Adrian says, when Wobo comes, I want first dibs at strangling him. Yeah. Absolutely. Good to see my man Raymond here as well. He says, hi, Toon Tactics. Philip, how are you? Keep Bruno Guimarães until the summer. Bruno Guimarães should send the agent away. And Sean Stuer is officially a Newcastle United player today. Yeah, absolutely he is. And I couldn't agree with you more on Bruno Guimarães, but for me, I've already accepted that he's left. I think, I don't know about you guys, I think from last season, but also obviously preparing for the transfer window, I'm way more accepting of players leaving or players staying. I'm like, it is what it is. Though obviously Bruno is a particular hit in the stomach. I'm gonna let me know what you guys think. Raymond says, hi, Toon Tactics. Philip, how are you, man? Zabi move deal for Newcastle right now and add ones for Newcastle United right now. When you say right now, do you mean there's been a bomber right now, Raymond? Don't make me go and look for X and I can't find it. But I know we will talk about that deal. Unless everything is signed and sealed, it's like on a cliff edge. I don't know if you guys feel about this with the Manzambi deal. It's like it's on a cliff edge or something. Like, okay, transfer fee agree with the team. 1 minute personal terms agreed, verbal terms agreed, but he hasn't signed the paper and refuses to sign the contract until the World Cup is over. I'm like, I'm already like, a lot, I'm like, I hope this isn't the truth. Like, I hope, like, behind the scenes it's signed and sealed. Otherwise, geez Louise, like, this is just silly now. Good to see my man Register Kev here. Big up Philip and the chat. Good to see you, sir. Always a blessing to see you. James says he won't take any lower than 90 million for Bruno. Well, speaking of Bruno, let's talk about it. Let's get it on the screen and make sure you guys can see it. Yeah, you can. I'm gonna have to just zoom in a little bit. So first and foremost, excuse me. This was obviously July the 8th, yesterday at 5:35 p.m. Already got 31.6 million views. David Ornstein, as you guys have seen through my thumbnail. Let me know if you guys like the thumbnail. I like the. I try to give it an Assassin's Creed theme. Bruno Guimarães informs Newcastle United. It sounds familiar, isn't it? Of wish to leave and join Arsenal. And Brazil just got knocked out when? On the 7th or 6th of July? So he didn't wait 24 hours. This guy didn't wait. My man didn't wait 24 hours. Arsenal stepping up pursuit, ready to offer a deal worth up to 60 million at present, but no club-to-club talks yet. So we know this isn't Newcastle United aren't talking to I don't think they're talking to Ornstein. Well, they're not talking to Fabrizio. I don't know what the situation with Ornstein is. Stance still not entertaining bids for 28-year-old. Stance still not entertaining bids for 28-year-old. The problem for Newcastle United, and I actually saw a different program, nothing to do with football, but I was watching the program. It was to do with politics. But I'm not going to talk about the politics it talked about, but the basic premise of keeping your word, right? And it was basically saying no matter how high of office you hold, you can be the president, the king, whatever it is, yeah? If you don't have your word, if people can't trust your word, it doesn't matter how much diplomacy, whatever, it's all falling apart. So I say that to say this. That last line when Newcastle says Newcastle start still not entertaining bids for a 28-year-old, because of everything that happened last year and how it happened, unfortunately, I'm saying this as a Newcastle fan, unfortunately, nobody believes that. Not even Newcastle fans believe that. Didn't you guys see that? So, I mean, what does it mean to you guys? How serious are Newcastle about, they're not entertaining any bids? I personally think they'll entertain the bids because there'll always be a price. If Arsenal come with a decent offer, I don't think Arsenal will give us exactly what we want. There's been rumors of 72 million. I don't even know what we want, to be honest, because you guys tell me, because I know we don't talk to Fabrizio. I don't know how we are with Ornstein. Our own journalists, Keith Downey, Craig Hope. I don't know if Craig Hope's changed anything, but they're pretty much saying that we're not entertaining any bids. So I haven't seen anything in relation to what we would take or what we wouldn't take, right? So it's difficult to gauge where we're at. And if you look at Newcastle sources, they're just saying we're not intending any bids. If you look at other sources, they're saying anything between 60 and 90 million, some saying 100 million, all this other stuff. But your word, because this quote comes back to the whole point of your word. Newcastle might turn around to Arsenal and say, we're not taking that 60 million, we want 100 million, or we're not selling him. And Arsenal might think, we're not paying you 100 million, but we might give you 80 million because we know that you'll sell him to us. So they might think that. I know there'll be Liverpool fans that talk about Isak, and it's so surprised in terms of the price, like they got some kind of a discount. It still surprises me to this day when they say, but we paid 130 million and not 150 million. It's still 130 million. We made 100% profit, and you wanted to pay 110 million, right? So I don't know. And obviously, leading up to this, there's already been some, I think, either one bid rejected or two bid rejected. So we'll see. Okay. So anyway, let's get into it. Let's read it, and then I'll see what you guys are saying. So this is Ornstein that I think wrote it himself. He did, by David Ornstein himself. Bruno Guimarães informs Newcastle of wish to join Arsenal. Bruno Guimarães has informed Newcastle United of his wish to leave St James's Park and join Arsenal. The Premier League champions are stepping up their pursuit of the 28-year-old and have indicated a willingness to pay up to 60 million for the midfielder. That's interesting. Bruno's got 2 years left on his contract. I think we've got an extension, an option to extend it by a year, should we want to. So it does come across as a low ball offer, but we'll see. The Athletic reported in June that Arsenal had a verbal offer worth below 60 million rebuffed. Okay, so there was an initial offer that was rebuffed. And this was via intermediaries. That's why I keep on seeing this whole thing from Newcastle saying we've had no club-to-club talks. So, and let's see you actually talk to us, to our faces, kind of thing. So I feel like they're trying to call Arsenal's bluff on this, but we'll see. Newcastle insisted at the time that they would not entertain bids for Guimarães. There's been no club-to-club contact so far, and the North East side are currently, maintaining that position. There he goes. There's been no club-to-club talks so far, and the North East clubs are currently maintaining that position. It's interesting that Ornstein says that. They insisted that they would not entertain any bids for Newcastle United at the time when the offer was refused. At that time, they would not entertain any bids. Okay. So be present of that. It says, so there's been no club-to-club talks, contact so far, and the North East side are currently maintaining that position. If you read between the lines, when it says there's been no club-to-club talks, but the North East club are maintaining that position, without saying it, but saying it to me anyway, he's saying like Ornstein himself is not saying yes, and that's true. The clubs have not, Arsenal have had no conversations with them at all. He's saying Newcastle United are insisting there's been no club-to-club talks, and they're maintaining that position. They're claiming, they've made that claim, and they're sticking to it. There's been no club-to-club talks. They're making that claim, and they're sticking to it. So it kind of leaves it in the open to say, yeah, they say there has been no club-to-club talks, but it's not necessarily true without saying it. In my view. And that's because it's been talk between intermediaries. Which intermediaries from Newcastle is not clear. He goes on to say, Guimarães has 2 years left on his contract, as I pointed out, having signed a 5-year extension in October 2023, when Man City was supposed to buy him but didn't. That deal had a temporary 100 million release clause inserted, but it expired in June 2024 without being exercised. And that was a surprise to Newcastle and everybody else, including Bruno, because we thought Man City would get him. Newcastle have already sold Anthony Gordon to Barcelona this summer for £69.3 million. And Sandro Tonali has joined Tottenham in a deal worth up to £100 million. They have. I wonder why you mentioned that. because you want to. We've already saw big stars, is what he wants to say. Is what he's saying. And Guimarães is the third big star. Guimarães was a part of Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil squad at this summer's World Cup, starting every match before they were eliminated by Norway in the last 16 and providing 4 assists. Newcastle know how to develop good players. The midfielder has established himself as a key player for Newcastle since joining from Lyon in 2022. He has made 153 Premier League appearances, scoring 30 times and recording 26 assists. Great record. 1 in 3 GA, essentially. The Brazilian was also part of the team which won the Carabao Cup in 2025. After that game, an emotional Guimarães said, "It's interesting that Ornstein is saying this. It's interesting that Ornstein's about to say this, and he's given a quote from Bruno himself. This is my second home. We are making history. Someday, when I leave this club, I want the fans to sing my name the way they do Alan Shearer." Now, that's really interesting that Mr. Ornstein chose to put this quote into his article. Why do you guys think he did that? Because we all, including myself, obviously, like to feel sometimes different journalists have an agenda for different clubs. But when he raises this point of Bruno Guimarães himself saying live to 2025 to Newcastle fans, I want them to say my name like they did Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer didn't make any public announcements about leaving Newcastle United. Right? Alan Shearer stayed at Newcastle United till the end of his career, despite huge offers from big clubs like Man United. Bruno's doing the opposite. So it does make me think what was in Ornstein's mind when he thought of this quote and he's put it into this article. Is he just trying to say, you wanted the fans to sing your name like Alan Shearer, but Alan Shearer never went to me, the likes of me, a transfer journalist, saying, I want to leave Newcastle United Football Club. Alan Shearer never did that. There's a reason why Toon fans sing his name the way they do, apart from just being a great player. So it's interesting that Ornstein raised that. Anyway, I'm going to go to the chat in a moment, but I want to finish this article. It's a lot longer than I thought it was, actually. Am I going to finish it? I'll finish it. Where is it? Okay, so when I leave the club, I want the fans to sing my name like they do Alan Shearer. So Eddie Howe's side, he goes on to say, Eddie Howe's side admire Monaco midfielder Lamine Camara, who has been tracked long-term. While the Atletico also reported that at Auxerre's Kevin Danwise, is among others monitored, Newcastle will look to replace any midfielders that are sold in the summer. Me personally, I've kind of given up on Lamine Camara. I think Newcastle have as well. But obviously, Ornstein wants to put it out there that Newcastle have been seeking, regardless of who leaves, which midfielders leave, Newcastle have alternatives. Now, the next article, I'm going to go to the chats in a minute, is in the same Ornstein article, but it's not Ornstein who wrote it. This is Arsenal determined to get their man. This is an analysis by Arsenal correspondent James McNicholas. So this is what Mr. McNicholas says. Arsenal have been admirers of Bruno Guimarães for some time, and it seems Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta are determined to get their man this summer. Bruno would be a Premier League ready option for Arteta's midfield, able to feature as either a partner or alternative to Declan Rice. Given the demands on Rice over the last 12 months, an experienced addition to Arteta's midfield options is arguably all the more necessary. I can't imagine Bruno sitting on the bench. At 28, Bruno would be the older end of Arsenal's recruitment range. with the club willing to listen to offers for the likes of Gabriel Jesus, Christian Norgard, and Leonardo Trossard. This is their squad players. This is their first team players. It's giving me the vibes of how they say Bruno, which is amazing to me. Perhaps Arsenal reason there is no need to offset those potential departures by introducing some leadership and experience. Okay, losing Guimarães would feel existential. Analysis by Newcastle United Chris Vaughan. Now this is by Newcastle's correspondent Chris Vaughan. If Newcastle were to sell Bruno Guimarães and, in big capital letters, Sandro Tonali during the same summer, then they may as well just give up now. Do you guys believe that? I'm going to ask you guys, do you guys believe that? Should Newcastle, is that right? Should Newcastle might as well give up now? Should they just give up and throw in the towel? Me personally, because I'm not that kind of man, I personally don't like it when people talk like this. But that's just my nature. When someone just, it's over, we'll just give up now. It's just, there's something in that is, to me, when I say this, I don't mean it in a, what's the word they call it? Macho, masculine type of way. But it just feels weak. I don't mind people that cry or for temporarily want to stop or pause or, whatever, if they're doing something difficult, so long as they push through whatever that challenge and whatever that situation is. But this whole giving up business, but if you just give up and don't do that, there's something, for me personally, I just don't like that. I personally just don't like that. We've been through a lot worse than this as Newcastle United. We've been through relegation. We've fought relegation. We've had Mike Ashley for 14 years. We should have given up then, but we didn't. And this goes back to the point I was making about, how have we forgotten ourselves so quickly? I really thought that we'd be different, but even our own journalists are saying give up now. But at the same time, we say things in the moment, and maybe even Chris Waugh is just saying it in the moment. It's his opening line, and he's sort of set the gauntlet and said, hey, if both of these guys go, this project, he's basically saying the project's finished. Newcastle's own journalist. So let me know what you guys. Then he goes on to say the optics that would send the optics. I had a big debate with another Newcastle content creator, I'm not going to say who, about optics. He was very big on optics. I personally don't give it as much importance, but maybe you guys do. Because the optics that would send for supporters to current and prospective players, true, would be terrible and would compound what has already been a challenging off-season. In terms of the opposite supporters like myself, personally, and others, yeah, I can understand it. We'd have to be ourselves to be more resilient, though. And I've seen fans, for instance, when we didn't get the Munoz deal over the line, hey, the next news better be not a player leaving, it better be a player coming or we're gonna kick off. I'm like, I'm nearly 40 years old, man. Come on, man. We've got to strategize this. But anyway, but when he talks about prospective players, if you're Manzambi and you're seeing Newcastle United's club captain making a huge announcement to one of the biggest transfer journalists around saying, I'm leaving, you would be a fool not to ask Mr. Wilson and Eddie Howe, hey, why is your club captain leaving? It goes on to say Guimarães is Newcastle's captain, as I just said. The talisman who has an emotional bond with supporters. He's testing that bond at the moment. Remove him from the side and Newcastle lose their creative heartbeat and offensive purpose. All true. As a statistics, when he does not feature, prove true. With Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak having already left over the past 10 months and Tonali set to follow, Newcastle losing 3 of their best players is already hard enough for Eddie Howe to deal with. Only if he doesn't get the replacements he needs. He's a big boy, Eddie Howe. He's dealt with worse than this. But were he to see Guimarães depart too, even if the money on offer was exorbitant, which this proposal via an intermediary was not, he wants to be able to put that in brackets. That's not a good offer. Intermediaries, by the way, as well. Then Howe would head into 2026-27 with an inexperienced and untested side. True. Especially in the midfield area, not in the defensive area. Rightly, Newcastle insist Guimarães is not for sale, and they have no intention of allowing the Brazilian international to leave. Now, this is the part, again, it goes back to your word. What is your word? If this is indeed true, right, and Christopher isn't just like third rate, fourth rate, fifth rate, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th rate journalist, right? He's highly respected. I respect him a lot. Him saying this means that he's got it from credible sources. Craig Hope has said this. Keith Downey has said this, right? This isn't one of our, and God bless them, I love them because I think most of the time they're even better than our own journalists, our own kind of ITK saying this. In fact, our ITK is saying something different. If Newcastle say they're not going to sell him and they have no intention of allowing him to leave, right? When you say you have no intention, to me that says for love nor money. We're going to find out if that word holds. Anyway, it goes on to say, occasionally players can be invaluable to a team. It's interesting that that's the next line. Guimarães is certainly that for Newcastle right now. Losing him, especially when the first 11 signings have arrived, would feel. Losing him, especially when the first 11 signings have arrived, would feel existential. Okay, so you've had this article here from Ornstein, from the Arsenal correspondent and Newcastle's own correspondent there. I want to know from you guys, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings about all of this? It's all from, it's obvious that Newcastle have set their marker. Let's see what it all means. Hold on, let me just make sure I get my settings right and I can read off this as well. Why can I not see my timer? I had my timer. I can't see my timer. It's so annoying. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Yes, I'm going to go to you guys' comments in a minute. I'm trying to do my timestamps in a good timely manner. Bruno, Ornstein. Ornstein article. All right. And thank you for all those that are liking, sharing, subscribing as well. Did I lose where I was? Jeez, it's gone off the Richter scale. Okay. Good to see my man Jonathan here as well. He's still at Newcastle. He stays at Newcastle United. Hi, Bruno. I'm not going just yet. He still is at Newcastle. Exactly. Lion Point says, excuse me. I swear every Newcastle video stream right now feels like a eulogy. Yeah, man. Honestly. I fully agree. Kev says Bruno definitely gone. Don't see how he stays. Register says, who's the guy to the left of Bruno in the thumbnail? Looks like Amarim. No, it's a different. It's not an agent. He acts like an agent called Kia. I can't pronounce his surname, but think of it this way: he's the guy that brought Tevez and Mascherano to West Ham. Kev. Raymond says, "Hi, Bruno has not gone yet. He still at Newcastle United. He stays at Newcastle United." Whoa, it's a big claim there, and I like the confidence as well. Kev just says Newcastle trying to get the most money they can. Basically that's why we're making that stance. Do you guys believe that, or do you think Newcastle are serious? Yeah, there was a bid rejected, so I think it happens around 70, 80. So it'll be interesting to see if Arsenal were to offer 70, 80 million. I think that'll be their final bid. That'd be crunch time. That would mean a lot for the history of Newcastle. Well, under this project, anyway. Jonathan says apparently Bruno will not be coming back to training next Monday. Well, he won't be ready. He's just come back from the World Cup. He needs like 2-3 weeks rest, really. Tony and the Flying Crumpets, big up yourself. God bless. He says, I reckon he'll go for 75 million plus 2 to 4 add-ons. Okay, so you pretty much saying he's going to go. Yeah, reports exactly, BT. Good to see, BT. It's been a while. God bless you. Good to see. Yeah. Arsenal have not made direct contacts just yet. Lion Point says 80 to 100 million is what people think we should get him over for. Fair enough. Yeah. Jonathan says, Philip, if Bruno wants to leave, he should come out and say it to the public. He has, Jonathan. He said it to Ornstein. That was his way of saying it. That would be my point of view, because you've seen the statements. 9 points, probably because you've seen the statements from Isak and Tonali before, where talk about how they love Newcastle and the fans, etc., only to go. That's my theory. Yeah, could be. My man Warbojog is here. God bless you, sir. Great show with you on Tuesday. He says, hey, Phil, good to see you, sir. You are among friends, Warbojog. Lion Point says selling Bruno would certainly kill this project. Do you guys believe that? I personally don't. I think there's players obviously play it. I think if there's a number of things that could make that true. If Newcastle do not reinvest into quality players, then yes. If Eddie Howe does not evolve the team tactically, then yes. If Newcastle do not continue to build off-field training grounds and sponsorship deals and everything else, then yes. So it would have to take a lot to kind of be the case, in my point of view, anyway. Good to see you guys talking amongst yourselves. Really good as well. Oh, Wobblejog says, okay. Phil, I said this before and I'll say it again. This is his agent, and it's not even his agent. He's an agent. He's not even an agent, Kia. He's got this funny way of him of creating like not front companies, like firms, investment firms, that he uses those firms to buy the rights of those particular players. So he's able to avoid any kind of laws around being a direct agent. So he doesn't come under any particular supervision or anything like that. But I know what you mean. Phil, I said this before and I'll say it again. This agent is trying to get him his final big wages, basically forcing Newcastle's hand by this Arsenal's interest. Very much so. I think Newcastle, though, I think also Wobojog, it's not like he's forcing a move, with all due respect. I'm not to a club. I was going to say Tottenham. I'll say Tottenham. He's not trying to force a move to Tottenham, right? For instance, like Tonali. He's trying to force a move to a club in Arsenal who are Premier League winners, are primed to at least challenge and defend their title again, and probably do well in the Champions League. So I'll give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's just a paycheck for him. Otherwise, we can make a very good offer from Saudi, even better than Arsenal's. But I know what you mean, Adrian. Jonathan says, I knew what an Arsenal fan. Excuse me. I knew that an Arsenal fan would come in here to start. That makes me so off Arsenal fan, and Arsenal's what wanting our captain for, and I'm so. Now, big up to you, Jonathan. I don't think you know that Wobojog is not even just he's not even just a member. He's a friend of our show, and he very much comes in peace. He's very different to. He's not here on a wind up. He's part of our show. He's been coming here before Bruno, the whole Bruno situation. He's been coming here for more than a year now, maybe Wobojog. And in fact, he did a live show with me on Tuesday where we talked about some of this before the Bruno thing kicked off. So he's very much a friend of the channel, man. Very, very much. Now, big up to you, John. You didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't know. James says, Deji, why you annoyed me? Suggest that we would be relegated. Nah, don't worry about it. I know I expected us to be higher mid-table next season. We can join, but Spurs I expect to be mid. I do not expect him to work in the first season. I think not just I won't say this is about Deji, but in terms of content creators in general, right? And this is probably goes for us, for all of us, is a lot of the times people are on the wind up, and I wouldn't take a lot of things seriously at all. Sometimes I take things seriously, so I'm kind of even preaching to myself in this, right? And I think also people are looking at the optics. And really, if I wasn't a Newcastle fan, but I'm observing Newcastle fans talking about the situation, I would think that we're getting relegated. You know, I forgot who said it on here, and he was right. If you watch any Newcastle content creators at the moment, a lot, it's like they're having a eulogy. There's already people, I saw people going on X, they do the group chats, we're messed up. And they were putting on the WhatsApp groups that I'm on, like with other rival fans. They're having a good laugh at us. They're having a great laugh at us, panicking, crying, doing 2-minute TikTok saying the project is over. I'm done. They lied to me. All this like emotions and stuff like that. And it's healthy to have emotions. I get it, whatever people say. But when people, I've gone off on a tangent there, James, sorry. But I don't blame Deji. I don't blame any content creator who's not a Newcastle fan who thinks we're going to get relegated. The optics of the whole situation don't look great. Like I said, I don't put a lot of importance on optics, but the optics, I'm not going to ignore that they're there. But if you look at the response of Newcastle fans online, on X, on everything else, we're finished. Even with the signings that have come in, the young boy, Sean Stuer, he's got this great quote saying, when a club like Newcastle United come calling, it's hard to say no, right? And I had some content creators saying, or some people on X saying, yeah, but then the next line should be in a few years' time, I'll be asking to leave. Now, maybe I've taken it too seriously, but I was like, come on, man. But if you're an opposition fan, if you're a rival fan, and you're watching that exchange, you're thinking, yeah, this club is finished. Their fan base is dead. So I don't blame Deji. I don't blame others thinking that way, because it's what they see. I mean, would you, if you were an opposition fan, if you weren't a Newcastle fan, and you was watching us react like this, are you thinking, yeah, they're going to challenge for the league? I wouldn't. Wobojog says, Phil, paying 70 to 80 million on the 29-year-old is the top 5% of a midfielder in his age bracket. The guy has 20 to 30% more minutes than his age bracket appears. So you're saying that he's are you trying to say that he's like literally at the end of his prime, and it might not be the best investment? Possibly. I'll give it a couple more, and it's important to talk about this. I feel like it's important to talk about this. I see a lot of chats on this. I was going to say, let's start talking about Sean Stuer, but with the chats that are coming in about this is coming across as important. Well, it is important. Jonathan says, if Newcastle goes down this season, then we blame the we blame the Arsenal. I hope you're joking. Raymond says, Phil, how are you? The agent should be sacked from Newcastle United right now and get another agent for Bruno. No. Bruno picked this agent. And he actually had him. He's the same agent that got Bruno from Lyon to Newcastle. So it's a twisted sense of fate, to be honest. Adrian says, Wobo is like a much loved old piece of furniture that we keep stubbing our toes on. I like that. Raymond says, hi, Philip. Are you a Sean Stuer is officially a Newcastle United player? He is. And the Manzambi deal's there for 60 million. Absolutely. James says, I'll look at the quality of what we're bringing in, all the quality that we're scouting. It doesn't feel me, to be honest. We're focusing on Solanke than I would be. On Solanke? Possibly. At the moment, what's the word? We're seeing the glass half full, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think we're going for a tactical evolution, to be honest. Jonathan says, I'm just very cross about all of it, Phil. Sorry, don't need to apologize, man, at all, man. That's a natural emotion to be angry and upset, man. I'm not saying don't be. I'm just answering some of the questions around, I think someone made the point around, I think James was saying, such and such fan thinks we're going to get relegated. And I was saying, I don't blame them for thinking that we're going to get relegated because of what, from the outside, what they're seeing. Like in the WhatsApp groups that I'm in with rival fans, I'm not trying to prop myself up, but they think they haven't seen me fold like that. And I'm not trying to not fold because I don't think I'm kind of delusional, don't believe the truth. But they want me to fold. They want me to cry and they want me to get angry, or they want me to kind of say, yes, the project is dead. They want to hear those words, but I don't believe it. If God forbid that, but if I do say it, it's because I believe it. I don't believe it. And despite whatever emotions might come through, a challenging situation like this, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go ranting on TikTok and on Shorts or on X to big block capital letters and angry emojis. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, guy. I'm not going to. But they want me to do that, and they think I'm just being. I think they think that I'm just being stubborn, that I'm not accepting the reality and stuff like that. I am accepting the reality. It's there before us. I just don't believe the project is dead. I don't believe Newcastle can't grow or recover from it. And that's it. All right. So, okay. Tony, the Flying Crumpet says, what project? The 2030 project? Well, you asked a very quick question, because when you say project to someone, it means a whole different type of thing, right? The vision for 2030 is for Newcastle to be seen as a team that's competing for big trophies, essentially. So that, if you ask Mr. Hopkinson, that's what he's saying. The Newcastle project, what it is to the owners, is to build a club that is competing for those huge honors by that time. Yeah. Wobblejog says, Phil, you have to, man. Rage is the name of the game. Doomerism is where the views are at. It's true. It is true. It's true. I probably have 5,000 subscribers by now, and we'll all be doomed together. What are we doing with this rational gimmick, man? James says, Phil, what did you think of the defender that I sent you link to and have been inquiring about? Do you know, somebody else mentioned him. I don't know if he's an ITK. I wouldn't say he's an ITK. Sometimes there's ITKs, but there's also people that almost reluctantly, they just come across stuff that, they might know someone who knows someone. And he said that he mentioned the same name before. So I was actually looking at him before, but I don't have a deep sense of who he is just yet. But I might do a scouting report on him. Let me know what you think of him, James. All right. So you guys keep your comments coming in for Mr. Bruno Guimarães and everything you're thinking about him. I want to be able to talk about our new signing, and actually it's a good time to talk about our new signing because we want to know about. Speaking of young players coming in and everything else, and there's a question about him as well that I want to talk about. But I'm going to read this analysis from Mr. Talks Toon. Big up to him. He deserves every credit. If you don't know about him, I'm surprised. If you do know about him, please do give him a like, a share, give him a follow. I think he's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, absolutely do encourage you to do that. So I want to look at this young man, Mr. Sean Stuer. Oh, I had him. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Who's come to Newcastle United? Is this right? Or do I have to come out of it? Excellent. Okay. There's a thing about him though. First, before I get into this report. Where is it? Because he's 18 years old, right? And I was saying to myself, he can't be. Where is it? He can't be in our first team, right? He's not ready. He can't be a replacement for Tonali. And the journalists have so far said he's not a replacement for Tonali, right? So then I thought, so why? And we've said, though, at the same time, we are not going to loan him out. So he's not a replacement for Tonali. So he's not like a direct first team player. And we're not going to loan him out. So what is he? Essentially, what is going to be his role in the team? I guess is one of the questions I have. I want you guys to tell me. I want to add that with FIFA, excuse me, not with FIFA, with the Premier League, you can have until under 18s don't take up the squad space, or not under 18s. If he's under 21s and he's 18, so you can still have him in the squad, right? You can still have him in the squad and not take up the numbers. And so we can still use him in that way and build up his minutes, build up his time, build up his numbers. So there is that. Anyway, let's get into it. So Toon Talks Toon says, out of nowhere, Newcastle United have signed a Dutch wonder kid, Sean Stuer, from Ajax for a reported 20 million fee. Same amount for Mr. Joan from the goalkeeper. Now I think we are. Are we going to loan him out? I can't remember. From his brilliant passing range to some potentially concerning traits, good to know. I took a look at why Newcastle have splashed the cash on an 18-year-old midfielder. Brilliant opening. Now, it goes on to say, firstly, the youngster broke into the Ajax first team last season, making 20 appearances in the league. In those, he got 1 goal and 1 assist. He also impressively featured in the Champions League, he's already been in the Champions League, becoming the club's youngest ever assist maker in the competition. That's not a bad record to have. Youngest player with a UCL assist, and that's for Ajax, and they've got a history of these players. Make sure you guys can see this. You can see this. Brilliant. I was worried that you can't see it. Wobblejog says, Phil, a small part of me want Bruno to leave. I don't want him at Arsenal, to be honest, and for the new players to play 10 times better. Collect to see what the look ones from face that would be. Jeez. Tom Toxenko says, so what type of player is he? He's a progressive midfielder. He's not someone who simply keeps possession with safe passes. He wants to move his team up the pitch, whether that's his part, whether that's through his passing or by carrying the ball himself. His passing range is top. So the fact that he can do both, he can be a ball carrier and a passer, are two huge weapons. And you can see him ball carrying here. If you're wondering if he can do ball carry, he's actually in this video here. You guys can see this, right? Yeah, brilliant. You can see this. He's doing both. He's doing really good ball carrying, riding challenges. This is really good. Lovely Cruyff turn with his right foot, shrugs with the defender, rides another challenge, and does a brilliant pass into the stride of the player. So he can do both. So on top of this, he's comfortable using either foot, which is another big reason why you pay 20 million for him, making him harder to press and far less predictable in possession. Arguably, his biggest strength is how he drives the ball forward. He's a ball carrier. Look at how he ranks among young midfielders in this regard. Exceptional talent. So this is it. This is what he means. This is the data, the radar, excuse me. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. So if you guys can see my cursor here, Sean Stuer is here. So you got this, I can never get this right. If this is Y going up or X axis going Y. I think it's Y. Here is accelerations per 90, right? And then on the towards the bottom here is progressive action rate. So this is to do with the ball carrying essentially. And Mr. Stuer has quite comfortably, the best of both worlds. And he's very much head and shoulders above anybody. I think it's under 21s, looks like under 21s in his current age group. So that's why, again, you pay 20 million pounds for people in that range, right? Okay, so brilliant. So he's excellent with the ball. He's both footed, can pass, and can carry the ball as well. So what's he like without the ball? Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. It goes, without the ball, Stuer is an excellent.
Stuer is a very intelligent.
Without the ball, Stuer is an intelligent player. He reads the game well, understands his positioning, and is disciplined in this. This is important for Eddie Howe. He contributes to the press, helps his side win the ball back, and can provide balance in the midfield. He is not rapid, but his IQ makes up for it, which is excellent. Really good to hear that, as how he's off the ball. He goes on to say he's also technically rounded.
Too much more. Just watch this.
Whoops, sorry. He's also technically rounded. His first touch is calm under pressure. He receives the ball on his feet and is a brilliant ball striker, having already produced some spectacular goals from distance. So you can see some of the raw talents, the kind of ingredients that he has here. This is really good. Across the midfield, this time on his left foot, by the way. The last one that we saw with him, carrying the ball, riding the challenges, doing that pass, was all with his right foot. Now this one is with his left foot, going past players, and then this incredible strike. This is with his left foot, so he really is both-footed. Talks Toon says, as of earlier March this year, no midfielder had a higher progressive pass accuracy or defensive dual win rate in the Eredivisie. That's incredible for an 18-year-old. 98th percentile for duels 1. Eredivisie, right? That's part of me wants to give him praise and ratings, which I do. Another one lets you know Eredivisie. 90th percentile for forward passes, 88th percentile for progressive carries, 80th percentile for forward passes. Exceptional. Right? Really exceptional. Goes on to say, a great aspect of the deal is his age profile. Alongside Bazumana Toure, 20 years old, it's clear to see that the club are trying to bring down the average age of the squad. This is important in terms of future sell-on value, but also to keep our squad fresh and physically capable. True. The main area for improvement is his ball protection when dribbling sometimes. He's not as pressure resistant. Excuse me, guys. He's not as pressure resistant as someone like Bruno, obviously. Bruno is an elite character. or even someone like Keith Smith, who we linked to before. But considering he's only 18, he's got plenty of time to have that coached into him. True. Now, despite Toon goes on to say, despite his impressive stature and running power, when he would play for Ajax's first team, he would cramp up, and this is the important part. This I don't see him in the first team. He would cramp up, and he wouldn't be able to get through the full 90 minutes of football in the Eredivisie and the Premier League. He's going to suffer. So this is, of course, not the end of the world. He's 18. He is 18. But it is worth noting that physical development is needed, absolutely. So where does he fit into our side? You can answer my question. Stuer suits one of the number 8 roles in the midfield. Engine in the midfield. Engine to press. He has engine to press. He has IQ to keep structure. He has ball striking to score goals and the progression to get us attacking quickly, after winning the ball. He can also punch the ball into the box well. So really good qualities there. Talks Toon says, I am very happy with this signing. Signals a change in policy, has a massive upside. Also love how out of nowhere it was and gives me hope that the club are spinning lots of plates behind the scenes, praying. It also means Manzambi is progressing well. That is absolutely all of us as well. So let me know what you guys think. I'm encouraged that Tom is encouraged. He's got a lot of qualities, Stuer does. Ball carrier, passer, progressor, high IQ, good positional sense off the ball, works hard off the ball. One of the best jewelers, or the best jeweler in Eredivisie. I don't know if that says more about Eredivisie. Because no 18-year-old is getting best jeweler in the Premier League for sure. For sure. No 18-year-old is getting best jeweler in Newcastle alone. So that's going to be interesting. But I like that he's got those stats anyway. Let me know what you guys think. So, like I said, we're not loaning him out. He's not replacement for Tonali or any of the midfielders. We're essentially adding another another midfielder. It could be similar to the case of Lewis Hall and Livramento. Livramento, we took a time to raise up Lewis Hall. And you might see Mr. Stuer and Mr. Miley in the midfield together. So that's really encouraging as well. But that's in the future. That's not for the now. But it's important to still know that we're trying to future-proof ourselves. James says, fair. I've not looked into colours. I thought we've already looked at him, but I might be wrong. Oh, I missed that one there. Wobojux, I've read that one. Oh, I've read all these ones. Adrian says, he's a bright young midfielder. That's reason enough to get him for me. Heard him likened to Ødegaard. Interesting. Ødegaard's a lot better in protecting the ball, though. I forgot who they likened him to. There was a player they mentioned. I forgot his name. There was a player they talked about. I think even his coaches matched him to. I forgot who it was. James says, Phil Stern, I really like him. I rate him to be the whole version of midfield style of play. He's a master long ball and cross wizard, but he shoots beautiful balls, not net. And Arsenal and Liverpool missed. That's always a good one. Nobody's shouting food chain for that one. De Jong, that's it. De Jong vibes too. That's the player I was thinking of. That's who they were talking about. But both Ødegaard and De Jong are incredible in terms of being press resistant, especially De Jong. Well, both of them really. But it looks like we can get that into his game. Adrian says maybe he's Joshua White's replacement. Probably. Dude, Maxin, I don't know if it's your first time. I haven't seen you before, but welcome to the show and God bless you. So Trafford and Manzambi perhaps would make the squad strong as an ox if we can find one or two fullbacks and a striker. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you there. Lion Point says a lot of them Ajax fans have seen got high praise for the kid. According to them, he needs to improve his defending and fitness, but he's got the potential to be another Miley. That's the sense I'm getting from him. And he's come to the right coach and he's come to the right club for that. Dude Maxon says maybe we should give Harrison Ashby a go. He's just 25 and he can play right back. He's 25 already. I just don't think he's good enough. He's been loaned out to Luton as well. So by the way, Boba says, by the way, Phil, I kept thinking about our marketing convo, and I did a quick research online. In Europe, Atletico is the closest in terms of vibes, but the Pistons and the Steelers are actually the closest to you. I'll have to look at that too. I appreciate you doing that, Wilbur Jog says, I mean, in terms of community and town, okay, history, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah. That both industrial bases, they embody the grittiness similar to how I perceived your club. Not sure if that's how your fans do too, though. I think some of them do, for sure, absolutely. Tony, the Crumpet Flying Crapper says, the club did a welcome video. It did, I watched it. So it would suggest they don't expect him just to be thrown in the reserves, just like the lad from Man City. What lad from Man City? Oh, I forgot what lad from Man City. Alfie Harrison. That is it. Alfie Harrison. Yeah, he didn't work out. Hopefully, that's not going to be for Stuer. He says, "Which De Jong? Same or Luke? I hope." No, the Barcelona one. Lion Point says, to be fair, he was injury prone, but what a waste. Unfortunately, yeah. It's been sold. Was he sold, James? I thought he was loaned out. Okay, so that's Stuer. You're right, guys. I think he's blatantly going to be in the team. He's going to be in the squad. He's not a first teamer. I imagine he'll be a rotational player. Whether it's going to be a key rotational player, I doubt, but he will be a rotational player. And it sounds like we're filling out our squad, which isn't a bad thing, which is a good thing. Because if, by the grace of God, we get back into Europe, hopefully Champions League, if we can, then we'll be a little bit more. We'll have a little bit more of a fuller squad, and we'll probably hopefully be a bit more ready to handle Europe as well as handle the Premier League as well. So let's see. Just seen this update from I don't know if it's an update, to be honest, or is it the same thing? This is Keith Downey. He says Newcastle this is 2 hours ago. So they've been at 10. Newcastle have a verbal framework in place for the transfer of Johan Manzambi. They believe and hope they've got their man. They believe and hope they've got their man. I never see Man City talking like this. There's a part of me that thinks, yeah, we are close, right? But there's a part of me that thinks that we've pushed this story too soon because of Bruno Guimarães. I wonder if Bruno Guimarães never went to Ornstein and that story was never released on the 8th of July, would Newcastle have put out the story around Johan Manzambi? I just don't think they would have. I'm beginning to think that. Anyway, Keith Downey goes on to say, the agreement is for 49 million, despite previous reports, including mine. The 20-year-old has verbally agreed personal terms. Okay. Manzambi, however, will not sign a contract until after he's finished at the World Cup. And the obvious question is why? So there is a degree of caution from NUFC given what happened with Victor Muniz, but you've released the story. And right at the end, it says other Premier League clubs hold an interest. This is making me angry and it's already past midnight. Now I'm getting angry. After telling all the fans not to get angry, this is just this feels like, guys, that I'm beginning to believe my own theory. If Mr. Guimarães didn't go public with wanting to come out of Newcastle United, I don't think the story on Johan Manzambi comes out. All of this feels too early for me. Verbal agreements. Are you kidding me? We're sending out a story in pub, and I know that it's not that it doesn't happen, but the fact that you've got all of our like so-called tier one journalists printing this stuff, and you're having to insert Victor Muniz, you're having to insert there's other clubs interested, you're having to insert we're hopeful, we believe, and there's a degree of caution. Manzambi is like, there's some crazy analogies you can use for this. Asking someone to go on a date and they're always saying maybe, let me finish, let me after I come up from holiday, a holiday, I'll let you know if I'll go on a date with you. Just say it's just no, bruv. Just move on. Like, really? We're being held to ransom by a 20-year-old. We're waiting for him to finish the World Cup. How difficult is it? Elliot Anderson couldn't wait to do his medical for Man City. I hope we sign him. Honestly, I hope we sign him. But this is just a nonsense. This is beginning to feel more. In fact, I know why I'm getting a bit angry about it, because until I did the show, I didn't really pay attention to this stuff. I did pay attention to it, obviously I had to read it, but I kind of compartmentalized it in the maybe box. Like, I don't know why I'm making such a big fuss about it box. But now that I'm reading it and we're speaking about it, I'm like, this is why I didn't take this seriously. Not seriously, but I didn't put any weight on this. I'm so surprised that we've leaked. Not surprised, actually. Like, we've got to do better with this, how we handle the media. Like, this is just mad to me. I really, really hope that that what's actually happened in reality is that everything is signed and sealed, and that we're just waiting for the announcement, but we're telling everybody that it's verbal. I hope that's the reality, because if this is accurate, there's something seriously wrong. James says, yeah, they confirmed it today. Or let me know. Oh, the Luton thing. The Luton thing, okay. Robert Jock says, Phil, I know they aimed the season to lower the average age of the squad, but Telemans would be such a good signing, especially that Villa don't want to sell Rodgers. He would be a good signing, but why would he leave? I don't see him leaving for a Champions League team. Maybe if you mean like a player like Tielemans, I wouldn't. I get it. Lion Point says, what are the odds of Ashby rotting on the bench again? Bradford didn't really play him that much. Yeah, he's had a tough time. James says, it was an emotional reaction from Eddie. He must happen. What was an emotional reaction from Eddie? What did I miss? Let me know. Adrian says, an agreement in principle is just that. Clearly, they want to wait on potential moves from other clubs. May still get him, but prepare for disappointment. No, absolutely, Adrian. I just don't see like how we've gone so tier one public with it. That's the thing about it. It's like we're setting ourselves up. It was different for me with Munoz. I could defend the Munoz deal because it was Spanish outlets that were coming out with it. and our journalists had to follow up on it because the Spanish media was going on about it. Right, we can't control the Spanish media, right? But this is us leaking to our own guys, so we're literally we could be shooting ourselves in the foot on this. Hopefully not. I think that's where my frustration comes of it. I think that's why I was so relaxed with Munoz. This is like why. Dude Maxon says, best case scenario is he's still injured for one game, then Switzerland get battered versus Colombia. Yeah, today I feel Colombian, whatever it is. It's like they didn't learn anything. Yeah. Although, like I said, I don't think Wilbur jogged that. I don't blame them for the Muniz one. I personally don't blame them for the Muniz one. I hope not. I hope not, Lion Point, honestly. Dumax is trying to stay positive. Exactly. That's the great attitude. We need to believe, absolutely. He'll be a key player for Newcastle and just the backup for other clubs. Absolutely. I love that, dude, Maxim. I love that. Lion Point says, if we don't sign Manzambi, Geordie Josh is going to go nuclear. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna behave myself today. James says, to what I understand, part of the paperwork can be signed without medical, but the rest must be completed after. I don't know if it's Switzerland and they banned any medicals of happening during the World Cup. Best case scenario, absolutely. I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. I just know that it's funny because when I'm like, I've done this before with you guys. I don't know if you remember the like even the Isaac Instagram when he sent that message. When I read it by myself, not doing the show, I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But then when I had to read it with you guys, and I was kind of reflecting on it more. I was getting. Thank God Mitch was there at the time. That's when I was like, oh Jesus, annoying. Adrian says it's the beauty of football that we can believe our future hinges on the player. Hardly anyone knew about 2 weeks ago. You're right, exactly. And we still don't know him, but I think it's what his pride is at stake because it feels like we make algorithms almost like front page cover for transfer news, but it's not like good transfer news. Last year, the chain of rejection from strikers was record breaking, and this year again, Bruno there's an Isaac follow up. It's just crazy, but it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. Dude Maxon says, Philip, if you could have any realistic new goalkeeper this summer, Trafford. And you know what, dude Maxon? It's not just because like he's the one that's been talked about. Folks on the channel will tell you we've done extensive scouting reports on various goalkeepers. People have seen me live on this show fall in love with Trafford. So without doubt, people are say, 45 million. I'll say even if City says 60 million, we pay it. Honestly, call me crazy. If City wanted 60 million for Trafford, I'll be saying pay that money. Pay it. If Colombia could take a pen, this would all be a moot point. Are they? Oh, you talking about Colombia? Okay. Are they playing? I didn't realize they're playing. All right. So I'm thinking where to go with this because I was thinking of doing a scouting report on Angelo Stiller before we go. Because I wanted to have a chance to look at. There was a couple of midfielders before the show started. There's a couple of midfielders that were linked to Newcastle. One of them being Joao Gomes from Wolves. The other one was with what's his name? Danilo from Brazil. and that could be a direct one for Bruno. And the other one is there was another midfielder that came up. Who sent him to me? Was it you? Was it you, James? So let me know what you guys think. We can have a brief look at some of these players just to get a take on who they are. I'm thinking. Okay, let's have a brief, because I want to get your take on this, guys, in terms of some of these players. So let's get on the old data MB. Let's get on the old data MB. Or should I do Stiller? Oh, Adrian says Stiller, please. Okay. Cool. Thanks for that, Adrian. That's made up my mind. Okay. I was just reading the news because Bundesliga article. Oh, sorry. I'm going to copyright myself here. Because Bundesliga media outlets like Kicker and others and Bild are pretty much like, hey, Newcastle really want this guy. And I was just reading news saying, who said this? Someone said Stuttgart's position is that he's not for sale, but there's no one. Who's this guy that's saying it? Who is he? Is he a media guy? Nah, he's not. So I'm not going to ignore that. Okay, ignore what I just said. Apart from big German media outlets like Kicker, Bild, all of those guys. And that's another one I was kind of sort of ignoring. Not ignoring, what's the better word? Compartmentalizing. That's the word I'm looking for. Compartmentalizing. Because I just didn't think, because I don't know about you guys, I didn't know much about Stiller. Obviously, I was watching now, then I started watching Bundesliga stuff before I got on here. I was watching Bundesliga versus Hoffenheim, because obviously for Bosmana. So I got to see Stiller and Bosmana Torre at the same time. I always found the feedback on Stiller from some of my favorite or analysts that I kind of not depend on, I trust, split, kind of like Marmite. Some of them love him. They think he's amazing. Others are like, he's not the one. He's not good. There's too many flaws. So doing his scouting report, I can see why they're split. Because there is some elite qualities about Stiller, and there is some very average qualities about Stiller. And I think I did a post today talking about how someone like Stiller would how someone like Stiller would work in the midfield. So before we get into that, let's do his scouting report. Now, he's an elite ranked progressive forward, just like Stuer is. 90 percentile pass completion rate is an elite competition. But that's not just sideways stuff. That is progressing the ball forward. He's 1.83 meters tall. I don't know, what is that, 6 foot? How tall is that? He is an elegant left-footed structural anchor. And the last anchor midfielder we're looking at, if you guys remember, was Leslie Odochukwu, who's actually gone to Galatasaray. So there seems to be a theme here where Newcastle, no matter the midfielder, whether it's who's leaving, whether it's Tonali, Bruno, whoever it is, Newcastle are looking for an anchor profile type of midfielder. Now, Stiller is 25 years old. He's going to be 26 in April. He's born in Munich, Germany. So he is 6 foot, yeah. A defensive midfielder, deep line playmaker. He is, his preferred role is in the number 8, though I would argue he might be more of a 6. Depends how you look at it. used source material from tactical analytics, data embedded the profile, scouted profile on him as well, and armchair aficionado reports as well. So the timeline covered is development from Bayern Munich Academy to Stuttgart and Germany national team core. So, progression time and the rise of a tactical metronome. Phase 1, the Bayern Munich Foundation and the Hoffenheim stepping stone. Analysis, developing as a standout technical asset within the Bayern Munich youth setups. Still, a refined left-footed profile was shaped around absolute spatial awareness. He's going to need that in the Premier League. Moving to TSG Hoffenheim to secure top-flight minutes, he rapidly adjusted to the high-pressing demands of Bundesliga. Okay, so he can do that part and does it at Stuttgart as well, displaying a natural inclination to sit deep, split centre-backs, and construct geometric passing angles out of pressure. We don't have someone that does that. Bruno can do that to an extent, as in terms of passing and picking the ball up, though I think he prefers to carry it. But to the extent of sending vertical balls from the beginning part, from the first phase of the pitch, we don't really have someone like that, a midfielder like that anyway. Phase 2, the Stuttgart engine room and the architect status analysis. His transfer to VfB Stuttgart acted as his ultimate launchpad, seamlessly adapting to a heavy positional play model. He evolved into the main team's unquestioned architect, dictating tempos and acting as a structural shield. Now, we've talked about this in terms of what Newcastle need in order to have people that can control the chaos at times during games. Stiller, Odachukwu, all these kind of midfielders are beginning to fit that particular profile. His elite distribution metrics and volume, averaging over 76 passes per 90, and they do rely on him heavily. That's really heavily, and to do that, cemented Stuttgart's status as a dominant possession unit, which I think is what Newcastle are aiming to do. Phase 3, international breakthrough and elite continental profile analysis. His staggering efficiency at club level inevitably opened doors to the senior Germany national team, including call-ups during major tournaments like the the 2026 World Cup campaign, drawing structural and stylistic comparisons to fabled midfielders like Toni Kroos. He represents the premier modern standard of press-resistant playmaking. Interesting. Toni Kroos as well. Key scouting attributes: elite passing profile and accuracy. Stiller is a high-frequency passer who sits in the 98th percentile for forward and progressive passes completed. Stuer, routinely completing over 90% of his total pass attempts. He functions as a flawless high-volume safety valve and progressive distributor. Sounds like what Newcastle need. He's press-resistant and spatial escapes. Despite lacking overwhelming physical pace, they're going to go on about that, or explosive speed, very true. His close control, drop shoulder feints, and spatial reading make him immune to standard opposition presses. Interesting. He uses intelligent body shapes and quick Cruyff turns to navigate the central traffic. So he's coming across as very smooth, very press resistant. His left-footed variety and direct delivery. His wand of a left foot provides beautiful variations in the ball movement, shifting effortlessly from crisp, line-breaking vertical ground passes to delicate lofted chip balls over backlines or pinpoint corners or set pieces and deliveries. So he's got real quality around passing. Composed defensive engagement. While not a typical physical destroyer, Stiller reads lanes accurately. He prefers an aggressive yet calculated approach when stepping into a challenge, routinely going to ground dynamically or using his 1.83 frame to carefully pick and win duels. He's in the 79th percentile for winning duels. Surprisingly, he is. So pros and cons in terms of what he has. We'll go for the pros first. He is a world-class distributor and unmatched in his execution of forward progressive passes and switches of play. He controls tempo. He's got an elite set-piece delivery, and he's also got exceptional structural positioning. Always provides centre-backs an optimal passing lane during heavy build-up, and that's true, especially in that Stuttgart Hoffenheim game. He really sticks close to the centre-backs. Cons and weaknesses: physical and aerial limitation. He lacks the raw athleticism or physical power to single-handedly dominate wide area transitions, so you need a very good athletic partner next to him. He has one-footed reliance, highly dependent on his left foot, which can occasionally limit his body angles and make him predictable under specific angles of press. And that will be worked out very, very quickly in the Premier League. So he has to find answers for that. Direct goal threat. Rarely shoots or drives directly into the final third, offering a minimal individual scoring threat from open play. That just might not be his thing. He's clearly there for the build-up, for the first phase build-up. Defensive coverage range: can be exposed if forced to track back over large vacant defensive distances without a dedicated destroyer alongside him. Can somebody say Tonali? So very interesting there. What's the final verdict? The verdict is Angelo Stiller is a purist deep-lying playmaker whose technical ceiling makes him an invaluable asset for possession-oriented systems, while he requires a robust defensive or athletic partner in midfield to absorb his physical and structural blind spots. His elite footballing IQ, elite retention, and cruise-esque distribution portfolio tag him as one of Europe's premier footballing orchestrators. So there's Stiller's metrics over the last 3 years playing for Stuttgart. The one in blue is the 23-24 season. The one in orange is in the 24-25 season, and the one in the purple-ish is this season, the 25-26 season, right? The most you can say is that it comes across as very, very consistent. Obviously, I don't have do I have Stuttgart's metrics? I didn't put Stuttgart's metrics in here. In fact, but I'll go to them. But I know from the top of my head, Stuttgart are high possession, very high physical and pressing team, right? Which is not what Stiller is. And in fact, even in the scouting reports, it says, I think it's Karaza or Karazamov. I forgot if it's Karazamov. He's in a double pivot with a very physical midfielder who covers a lot of ground and kind of does the work for him. That's someone that Newcastle are going to need if they're going to get Stiller. So to allow Stiller to be Stiller, which is, you do your beautiful chip passes, long balls, line-breaking passes, and this guy will be the destroyer type of player. But his dual winning, to be fair to him, guys, if you guys can see it in the first row here, starting even when he first started in the season 23-24 was in the 50 percentile. But over the next couple of seasons, he's always maintained in the 70 plus percentile. And in fact, he's edging closer to the 80 percentile range. So that's pretty good. So I can't give him too much stick. But when he is in full contact with someone, he is winning the ball and he is improving in that more and more. Now, the possession one, the difference between dual win and possession one is like picking up the loose balls, intercepting passes, the kind of stuff you would do if you can cover ground, a large amount of ground swiftly and quickly, which Mr. Stiller cannot do. He hasn't got the physical profile to do. Hence why he never reaches anywhere higher than the 50-52 percentile range in itself. His progressive carries are pretty average as well. He is not a ball carrying creator, he's a passing creator. But where he goes into the absolute elite levels is in the forward passes. He is part, no matter what, he's literally in the 97, 98 percentile for forward passes. No matter what, 98, 97% of the time, Stiller is pushing the ball forward. Key passes, that's passes that lead to shots on goal. They go no lower than the 70 percentile when he first joined Stuttgart, or not when he first joined Stuttgart, but in 23-24 season. From then on, he goes into the 89s and 82s. So he is very much a creator from that point of view. Progressive passes, that's literally moving the ball from phase 1 to phase 2, again in the 90 percentile. And he's played consistent minutes in the Bundesliga, through always 3,000 minutes plus. So it's shown consistent quality and consistent availability, which shows his robustness, which is really, really good to see. He will need a partner next to him, and for Stuttgart, that was Carrazza, and that would have to be someone, or Carrazza, more of a Carrazza. And for Newcastle, it would have to be someone else that can do the physical stuff, especially covering ground stuff. I haven't made up my mind about him, but if Newcastle do get him, it for sure. If I wasn't in any doubt before, it for sure indicates a tactical evolution. He's. You can't even say he is a replacement for Tonali, or replacement for Bruno, or replacement for whatever player, because he's got such a different profile to all of these players. In fact, what he is an evolution to, he's a sign of an evolution to a tactical evolution, excuse me, for Newcastle United. So we'll see. Let's have a clip of him. I'm actually just I want to show you another update from Lee Ryder in regards to Mr. Manzambi while we're talking, and I'll read the chat. I wanted to show some clips of Stiller as well. It gives a good idea of how he plays. Where is it? Is it this one? So this is this is via Toon Takeover NUFC. Big him up and God bless him. Manzambi update. Johan Manzambi has given his words. Giving your word seems to be the theme of tonight's show. Newcastle have given their word. They won't sell Mr. Bruno Guimarães. Okay. And Mr. Johan Manzambi, according to Lee Ryder, has given his word to Newcastle United that he will sign for them as soon as the World Cup ends. Okay. Just wanted to update you guys on that. Hopefully it happens. Now let me set up and God bless you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. Really appreciate you for doing that as well. We've got 20 watching. It's nearly 1 a.m. as well. You've been absolutely phenomenal. Where is it? Mr. Stiller. Mr. Stiller. Stiller for Stuttgart. Big up Brazil. Oof. Sorry. I'll start halfway through because I was watching some of the compilations as well a little bit earlier. I'll read the chats in a moment, but let me just set up Mr. Stiller. Here we go. Let me see what you guys are saying. Adrian says, Stiller, please, go for him. That's interesting, Adrian. Let me know what sold him to you about him, because usually you're very reflective when it comes to players. You don't usually just go in like that. So I'll be keen to get your views. James says, yeah, it's been a little while. Oh, I missed something there. Sorry, James, I forgot what we was talking about. James says excuse me, they're probably less about him. I'm concerned because he's slightly above her age range. It's about 24 to 18. Oh, I've missed something there. James. I'm unsure of being a Sandro replacement for Stiller. I don't think, again, my mind is that I don't even think he's a replacement for any midfielder. If we're talking about like just body wise, filling the numbers, like just pure numbers, yes. But like in terms of a like for like, definitely not. Definitely not. All right, so you can see Stiller here in a number 6, and you'll see him often like this. Lovely chip pass there, setting off runners. And boy, do we have runners. If you can imagine, we're going to have Osola, we're going to have Barnes, we're going to have Buzumana Torre, we're going to have Elanga on the other end. Murphy, if he stays, it's not totally clear, but all those guys are going to be up there as well. So he's going to have plenty of runners to go on to. Again, and I'm sure if we're going to see this, I do sometimes sense he gets a little bit more time to get these passes. What's it like for him to do it under pressure? I love the chip passes. I can't remember the last time. I don't know if you guys remember. We've had someone from midfield or in the half spaces giving the chip pass into the box. I think the last time I've been Isak in the goal against Man United via Tonali, but it doesn't happen often. I know that Arsenal were kings of that, with the likes of Fabregas, Wiltshire, Wiltshire and others and that doing it. So I like how his passing range is. I like to see a little bit more clips where he's under pressure, like he's been pressed the hell out of. But you can see he's got a fantastic passing range as well. The types of passes it gives are really, really good. That's a really nice take and a nice goal as well. Yep, he can carry the ball when he wants to. And you see him there again, right next to the centre backs. Sometimes he'll be on the left, sometimes he'll be in the centre, sometimes he'll be on the right, picking up the ball, spraying it around again. You see how much time he had there? Literally 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. It's not going to happen in the Premier League. So again, my assumption would be that our scouts would have seen him being pressed, would have seen him in tight spaces, or having to pass the ball whilst under pressure. So they'll know that he's capable of it. Lovely first touch there, lovely chip pass there. And again, if you're a Sola, if you're a Lanka, you're going to love this guy. And he will love you. Right? Again, you see that? Right in the middle of the centre back, spraying the ball around. That's what he does. Adding structure, adding tempo, dictating the play where he can. Really, really important. Again, lots of time, lots of space, able to spray the passes there. I would love to see more and more compilations where he's in the thick of it, where he's been pressed. Just like here, actually. Oh, no, that was him tackling. I want to see that a little bit more. But yeah, brilliant passing range. You can see it. You can see why his numbers are so high. Always going forward as well. Lovely cross. Brilliant. So I haven't made up my mind, to be honest, about him. What I do know, though, is that there'll definitely be a tactical readjustment to have him, honestly. James says, yeah, watching this would be a concern for me because Premier League teams are way quicker when they see the ball on a different team. They will go for it. Bundesliga is slightly different for sure. Absolutely for sure. If they do go for it, they do leave space in the back. So that's the other thing as well. So how would that work out? But he'll definitely be under more pressure. Agent says, I said Stiller, please. Oh, at the beginning to hear the analysis. I'll take him though. Our midfield is looking light for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. All right. So before we close the show, though, I wanted to have a quick look because we had some links to Joao Gomes from Wolves. I haven't got anything in depth on him at all, but I just wanted to look through the metrics quickly. But also we had some links to Danilo. Because we are light in midfield. So I don't know if you guys have watched some of these guys play, but I'll be keen to get you guys' thoughts on them. I have no what's the word? I have what would the word I'll be using? No initial kind of the Gomez said he's going to stay in the championship because I think Atletico tried to buy him, James, and that deal fell apart. Also, Curtis Jones. I know that people aren't fans of Curtis. Some people aren't fans of Curtis Jones, but the guy's available for £40 million. And Inter are taking their time. I'm surprised that our hat's not in the ring just yet. 40 million? 40 million for Jones? I would take that. I would personally take that. All right, so what's going on here? What is going on? Okay. So let's have a look at these players before we close off. Nothing too deep. In terms of analysis, who was I looking at? Gomez. Let's have a look at Gomez. Joao Gomes, 25 years old. Remember, he was playing in a very difficult, relegated Wolves team. Not just difficult; it was a relegated Wolves team. I'll be surprised if he decides to stay in the championship. So this is the last 3 seasons for him. But let's add a little bit of context. He's playing for Wolves. Before we get into it, he is playing for Wolves. So let me share this tab instead. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. So he's Oh, question mark, I've got Joao Pedro. So I was having a thought experiment, James. I felt that I was beginning to think, well, I was thinking that Joao Pedro is what Eddie Howe wanted to do. It's just Manzambi is what he wanted to do with Joao Pedro. So Joao Pedro started off in midfield, like Manzambi started moving up the field, attacking midfield and areas like that before eventually becoming striker. And Manzambi is showing very similar qualities and kind of heading into that direction. So I'm wondering, because someone said that Manzambi is definitely like Eddie Howe's number 1 priority target. And so was Joao Pedro. So I'm just wondering, I was having a thought experiment that maybe Manzambi is exactly what Eddie Howe wanted to do with Joao Pedro. So I was going through their metrics and kind of seeing similarities, of which there are. But it's a little bit difficult to piece together because Pedro obviously played for Watford, and those stats aren't necessarily readily available. Right. So this is, first of all, this is Wolves in the past 3 seasons where. So let me get my water. My throat is beginning to go. Let me get my water. I haven't done this in a while. So this is Wolves for the past 3 seasons. This is the context. This is the system that Mr. Gomez has been playing in for the past 3 seasons to kind of get an idea. And you can tell that the first 2 seasons are very similar. So average to below average on every metric. The only ones they really kind of stand out in is encounters and possession. And when we say stand out in, it's not that they're necessarily dominant in those areas, but the highest they go, for instance, in possession is in to the 52 percentile. So very, very average. And then the relegation season, it just falls apart totally. 2.3 percentile for goals, 13.7 for attacking, 19 percentile for possession, 30 percentile for counters, 17 percentile for defending, 45 percentile for physicality, 25 percentile for pressing, so no pressing. That is the environment that Mr. Joao Gomes has been playing in for Wolves. And that is a very, very difficult environment. Despite this situation, Joao Gomez, I'm going to look at the blue. The blue is the most recent one, but first I'm going to look at the pink and green, which is green is the 23-24 season, pink is the 24-25 season. He's still been putting up some impressive numbers in different areas. So when it comes to possession one, he's consistently in the elite metrics for possession one. So where is that? 95, 82, 93. Now, it can be argued when you're in a team that has hardly any possession and you're always having to defend, your possession one statistics are naturally going to be very high, which is absolutely the case. But he's doing them. so he's winning the possession, which is important. And possession one, as I said, is picking up. It's not physical duels. It's picking up loose passes, intercepting line breaking passes, and things of that nature. So it shows really high IQ, great anticipation, and alertness. Something that Newcastle can definitely do. His actual duel stats, so ground duels and aerial duels together, are not too bad. They're in this. The lowest they go is in the 50 percentile. The highest they go into the 68 percentile, which is this season, which is not bad. He's like 5'6", 5'7", so it's not bad at all. But he does have interesting stats around the forward passing and key passing areas as well, which are like in the 70s and 60s. But you have to bear in mind he's playing for an atrocious Wolves team. So I do wonder if should he play in a better team like Newcastle United, that you'll start to see those stats get a little bit higher, key passes especially, forward passes and other areas like that. So you can see that there's some ingredients there to be a very, very, very good midfielder. You are wondering if he plays in a better side. Does the forward passes progress? Does the carrying progress? I personally think it does. So I would want Newcastle to look at him. Now Danilo is another case. He currently plays for Botafogo. He's previously played for for Nottingham Forest. the season before last. I'm not sure why he went back, but Nottingham Forest have this, not dodgy, but they got this interesting relationship with Brazilian players, Leon, John Textor, all those type of guys. And a lot of those guys come through those kind of lanes or channels. I don't know would be the right thing to say. Of which Danilo did. Yes, this is Danilo 23-24 season when he was there actually. So we'll talk about him as well. And we'll also have Danilo from playing for Botafogo. The only problem with, like I said, with Botafogo, I don't have Botafogo's stats. But look how different he is compared to Botafogo. And this I was saying to someone, to a friend and a colleague in the football whiz. This is why, because he was comparing players just directly on the radar like that. He was just getting all these different players, midfielders, and saying, look, this one has better duel winning, or this one has better passing. And I was saying to him, it's not good. It's better not to compare players like that. And he was like, why? And I was saying to him, because they play for different teams. They play in different systems. They have different individual players around them that affect how they play, and also different roles and responsibilities, right? And so you're going to get different stats, sometimes playing in these different systems, and you're going to get kind of a different type of player in those areas as well. So and when you're comparing just like 5-6 players in one like that, or even two that play for different teams, different systems, different area, you can't. You're not getting the true perspective of who's really better at what and how, what the quality really is. And if you look at Danilo here, and this is a case in point, Danilo playing for Forest in the 23-24 season, right? So let me get Forest in the 23-24 season. Nottingham Forest, 23-24 season, Nottingham Forest, right? So this is Forest in the 23-24 season, right? Their outstanding quality, and generally outstanding quality, is counter-attacking football, right? That's going into the 80s, 90 percentile. Whereas, physicality is the next one, but it's like at the 60 percentile element. But everything else is average or even below average, right? Attacking, goals, possession. Possession is like in a 10, 15 percentile. Pressing is in the 5 to 2 percentile. So they're not pressing you. They're not looking for possession. They're just looking to hit you on the counter, right? So as a result of that, what happens if you look at him here in the 23-24 season? This is Danilo. Sorry, this is Danilo here in the orange. In that time when he played for just a mainly counter-attacking Nottingham Forest team with severely limited physicality, limited goals, limited attacking, pressing, physicality limited. What are you going to get? You're going to get a guy who's got this. Let me just take off the Botafogo one. It's going to confuse people. You're going to get what? Limited key passes, limited forward passes, because he's got no one to pass on to, and carrying as well. But what you're going to get really high, possession 1, duels 1. He's having to do that because he's having to do a lot more defending typically, right? And that's where he's been really, really outstanding. He's got those qualities there. In fact, he's in the 87 percentile, so he's heading into the elite when it comes to being able to win his duels, right? Playing nearly 2,000 minutes for Nottingham Forest. But then if you got Danilo playing for Botafogo, and the thing is that I can't get, so annoying, I can't get Botafogo's stats. But this is in the orange here. Totally different Danilo playing for Botafogo. And look what happens. His key passes rise, right? Probably in this, what percentile is in the key passes? He's gone from 31 percentile for Nottingham Forest to 70 percentile for Botafogo. So what does that let you know already? He plays playing. I'm going to assume this, that Botafogo are more of an attacking team. They have more possession, and part of his role and responsibility is to at least have some creative responsibilities where pull forward. He's definitely in charge of putting the ball. His full pass percentage is way higher. He's in the 86th percentile for full passes playing for Botafogo, and is in the 50th percentile for passes playing for Nottingham Forest. Right? And ball carrying goes way higher as well. His ball carrying playing in Botafogo is where is it? 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 Progressive carrying. Is it ball carrying or progressive carrying? Sorry, progressive carrying. He's in the 69 percentile, 69.8, so nearly 70 percentile. Whereas for Forest, he's in the 36 percentile. Right. So he's playing for a different team, different systems, different league, different players, and he's asked to do different things. He's asked to get the ball forward, either by carrying the ball, by forward passes, or by passes that lead to shots. When he was playing for Forest, where he's having to do a lot more defensive work, less possession, less forward attacking play, and solely relying on counters, all those other metrics were lower, but his possession and dual winning stats are higher. What you can say to a certain extent is this does show that Danilo does have the ability or capability to win duels, to have possession one. He has good understanding of ball carrying, full passes, and key passes. Where the risk is for any team, including Newcastle United, is can we transition this into our system and into our league? How would this look? Someone might look at this and say, this therefore means this is going to be high duels, good passes, good full passes, and carrying. Then you get a more complete rather midfielder. Possibly. You know, he's shown the capability to do that. But without seeing Botafogo, seeing their league, understanding the players around him, it's difficult to say how he managed to achieve this, right? But we know in the Premier League, at least, he'll win duels and he'll win possession. But he's another player that's linked to Newcastle United. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Who would you go for, Danilo or Gomez? So yeah, I haven't really gone into too much depth into them, but they are players that are linked. We've seen that also. I think Wolves actually. I think Wolves have just bought another central midfielder. Is it Wolves? Yeah. So they've just bought they bought a set to sign. Not Wolves. Is it Wolves? Well, they're set to sign a winger, Wolves. Is there a winger that plays for? Wolves are set to sign league winger Said. So what does that mean? Who else do they have on their wings? Is he a winger or wing back? Winger, Rafiki Said. Sorry, let me show you guys. Because someone pointed this out. I don't know if that means that Newcastle might be looking at what kind of player is he? So I'm just freestyling with you guys for a minute. Where does he play? Is he a wing or a wing back? Because if he's a wing back on the left side, it might mean that that maybe Bueno is available. No, he's an attacking midfielder, left-sided midfielder. But then someone said he's a left winger. No, he's a winger. What is he? Let me share this with you guys. What I'm looking at, so you're not out the loop. What is this guy? Does anyone know this player? I can't understand. I don't know what he is in terms of player. I don't know what he is. Let me try again. What is he? What is he? What is he? It's a professional footballer who plays as a winger, but has arrived in England, so he's a winger. Why does that matter for us? Why would someone point to him? Just unless he's going to play win back. Sorry, guys. I just want to double check this. He's very much a winger, man. I don't know. Does it mean we're going to get Bueno? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And there's somebody else as well. Who was I looking at? There was somebody else. Yeah, so Danilo. Yeah, Danilo. So interesting profiles for Danilo and Gomez. All right, so let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, and then we'll wrap up. James says, Joao Gomes seems athletic, like I'll be back because I'm going to still try and push on and get the offer too. Possibly. What price is Danilo? Between 30 and 40 million, Adrian. James says, I'm surprised. I mean, I did like him when I watched him in Brazil. I prefer him a lot over Cass from Newton. No, he's a midfielder. Central midfield overall. I thought you were talking about Danilo. 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 Central midfielder for Botafogo. All right, folks. We've had a fantastic show. Talking all things Bruno Guimarães. Newcastle have put the word out that they're not looking to sell him at any price, or for essentially not willing to entertain any offers. Let's see if they keep their word. Speaking of word, Manzambi has according to Lee Ryder, given his word to Newcastle that he will sign for Newcastle. So we'll see how that plays out. We did a scouting report on our new signing, Sean Stuer. Very, very promising young midfielder in the number 8 role. Impressive ball carrier, impressive passer, good off the field. But he's 18 and he can't play full 90-minute matches without cramping up, despite leading the stats on dual winning, full passing in Eredivisie. But he's got some really good raw attributes and talents about him. And I believe he's come to the right club and the right coach if he's looking to develop as a player. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does. He's not going to get loaned out. And he left Ajax partly because they were not giving him minutes to play. And there were other players that are coming in. They better keep their word. So, but he's expecting minutes at Newcastle. Well, let's see how that plays out and where those minutes come and what kind of player he is as well. We also did a scouting report on Angelo Stiller, very much a midfield anchor player, impressive passing ranges from Germany. He's very different to what Newcastle are used to. Works better with an athletic, ground-eating midfielder next to him, and so if Newcastle do go for him, if the rumours are true, for me, I'm very, very much on the bandwagon of Newcastle going for a tactical evolution, probably a 4-2-3-1 in my point of view. So let's see how that goes. And we did a quick, kind of metrics look at Joao Gomes and Danilo, other midfielders that have been linked to replacing Mr. Bruno Guimarães. But apparently, Newcastle are not entertaining any offers for Bruno Guimarães. So let's see how that goes. But as always, guys, we started late, but you guys have been with me, liking, sharing, commenting, doing everything. You've been absolutely amazing. Make sure that you get some sleep, or whatever you are doing, whatever you're doing, make sure you enjoy yourselves. Working hard as always. I'm sure you guys will are. Have a great evening, day, morning, and as always, folks, God bless you all.